I'm here with Dan with San Francisco Travel. Dan, you just gave a great presentation to the SoMeT crowd. Uh, Tweets were extremely positive.
Thank
Can
you.
you maybe just give us a little bit of a brief summary of what you just talked about?
Yeah, so really where I came at with the talk was when I started in 2010 working and managing the social media for the bureau, we looked at it in a certain way, and it has evolved since then to mean something else. And we've realized how from 2010 we didn't know a lot about our customers through social, and now we've changed that. And it's been all with me. Managing our consumer channels. And so really within this presentation, I wanted to give 6 takeaways so that people who come to SoMeT can actually take away and bring back home and start moving the needle. And so it's devising a strategy, identifying measurable goals that have metrics behind them, creating compelling content that achieves those goals, and curating meaningful content, and identifying and creating a community, so to spread your word. So these are all things that you can do to scale
Right.
with a team of one.
Yeah, and I really liked what you talked about when it came to the content and the content marketing that you do. Can you sort of give an example of,
Yeah.
of what your approach is?
Yeah, so our approach is to be helpful and informative. First and foremost, you can get any information anywhere about San Francisco, and we want to be part of that conversation. And so what we really do is use our social channels and Google, which is a social channel in itself, and we find out what questions people are asking, and really up-level the ones that are really important to people and answer them, so that not only we share and answer the question that they ask on social, though with answering that type of question, we can reach people through Google and people who are searching for it. So although we can't do a one-on-one conversation with every single person, by hitting the ones that are up-leveled the most, we can reach those people by answering those questions through content.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like you said, you're a team of one. And so how do you prioritize? Because there's so much you can do. Like, how do you prioritize what you do every day?
Yeah, so time management is definitely one of those things you have to work on. And mainly, I prioritize it based off of our performance that day. And what really worked, my first part of my day is looking at stats and seeing what worked and what didn't, and then promoting, fine-tuning it from a micro level to a macro level. Although I'm a team of one with social media, we get together with our whole marketing team and we discuss what we want to talk about from a content perspective, editorial calendar and such. And through that breakout, then we devise what we want to share on social.
So so you talked about, you look at your analytics and you sort of look what works and what doesn't, and then you make adjustments. So how does that process work? So do you have an example of it?
Yeah, so the example I gave in my presentation was the burrito example, and that worked. So what happened was we saw that it was trending on Facebook, on Twitter. We saw what people were talking in general about San Francisco and burritos. And from there, we decided to create a piece of content and giving a whole perspective on the city and burritos. And we then shared it and see how that resonated. And luckily it hit and a lot of people liked it. And then we shared it again because it's evergreen. And we shared it during a different time and not the same day, and so it's not repetitive, but we shared it and we made sure that it hit again, and then we tried to emulate that, and that's how our process works from a micro level. There are times where we actually don't move the needle,
Right.
Mainly on other subjects, and so we figure out how to fine-tune those ways so we can move the needle. If it's an art piece, maybe we want more photos with that.
Right.
It's not just a list of best this, best that, but it's more of like, okay, how can we showcase what we want to tell in a consumable way with our audience?
Yeah.
So although I gave food as an example with art, it's totally different and immersive. So based on the content that people want, that's the right format.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so what are your plans moving forward? It's like,
Yeah.
is there plans to grow the team, or
So
like, how about
yes,
what's the role social's going to
so social is an extremely important role. It's a role we're rolling up into content. So although I will still be managing the social channels, it's the content that we are going to be focusing on. And so we're actually getting our content process in place more, instead of not just doing these micro level things with burritos, but really figuring out what we need to focus on, what we need to talk about, and what's moving the needle. So it's taking our whole team and team effort to solidify that process, solidify our brand voice and what we stand for, as well as putting our analytics to the test and really reading them and knowing what they say about the piece of content we just shared and how we can make it better, you know, and how we can get conversions up.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thanks again for your presentation. You know, it's day 2 at SoMeT.
Yeah.
What do you think of the conference so far?
It's really great. I really like how I'm among my peers, and it's really a privilege to be around people who are really passionate, and the people who come here are really passionate about their destination, about marketing, and about the rest of the industry. So I think it's important that we all get together, get to know each other, and really learn from each other. This is an experience where we can learn from each other and create knowledge and make sure that we all actually are better at our jobs.
Yeah. And then finally Nashville.
Oh yeah, Nashville this is my first time, and I really love Nashville so far. Before I came here, I extended my trip. I'm staying through the weekend, so I'm excited to see what Nashville has to offer. I'm looking forward to eating some Prince's hot chicken, as well as husk and go to the honky tonk bars and just really get to know the place and the people who live here.
Yeah, no, I'm sure you're gonna have a great time.
Yeah.
Thanks again.
Thank you.